compare myself a lot, but not to other people. I compare myself to myself, which is a bit of a weird sentence to say, but I feel like it makes sense in my case. Sometimes I feel bad for being so open about my emotions online, but every time I do something like this, somebody tells me they appreciated it, so here we are. So I compare myself to myself. If you're new to my channel, you might not understand why, so let me explain. Although this channel has only been alive since October of 2019, I've been on the internet for much longer than that. I was on a different channel called mdazzle, which had around 18,000 subscribers before it got hacked. I ended up having to move channels because I got hacked, and because I didn't put out a video in time telling people where they could find me, I ended up losing a lot of my audience. I got the old channel back. By the time I did, a lot of people assumed I was dead, which I think is pretty fair. I mean, it's true, mdazzle is dead, but Mo is still alive, thankfully. But I often find myself living with regret. I end up comparing myself to my previous success, which was a lot more than I have now. I end up wondering what I'm doing wrong. A thing you've got to realize, though, is that intrusive thoughts like this are not always rational. In fact, most of the time they are irrational. Yeah, I had a pretty good audience over at mdazzle, but I was also on that channel for about 5 years before I got hacked. I didn't just blow up one day. I worked at it for years until I got to that point. I tend to forget that. So whenever my intrusive thoughts tell me that I'm not doing good enough because I'm not as successful as I was, I take time to remember how many years I worked to get to that point. I find that whenever I think about mdazzle, I think of it as a different person entirely, but that was still me. I've grown up since then, but that's still a part of my past. It's still a part of my story. So if I did it back then who's to say that I can't do it again now? I just gotta work hard like I did all those years ago. Of course, I still live with regret. I still go back and see how successful both camaraderie and fantasy were and wonder why Road to the Remedy isn't doing as well. I feel badly that I achieved that goal when I was so young and I didn't know what to do with it. Now that I'm older, I can't help but imagine what kind of opportunities would come my way if I had that kind of audience, and all the things I could do with it. It's good to have goals, but when I get into that kind of a headspace, I feel like I can never achieve that again. And although I'm working really hard to try and get out of that headspace, it still comes back to taunt me. Setbacks happen all the time, no matter how big or small the thing you're recovering from is. Setbacks are just a part of the healing journey. And yeah, they are very frustrating, but they're only setbacks. If you can push through it once, you can push through it again. And I'm pushing through it by talking about these feelings and putting it on the internet. How is that helpful? I don't know. I never fully understand why people would thank me for talking about my struggles online and being open. But honestly, if I can take something that's painful for me and twist it in a way to help someone else, then that's good enough for me. So while we're on that topic, I'll leave you with a piece of advice that came very helpful for me. As much as you wish you could, you cannot change something that's happened in the past. Whatever happened is solid and unchangeable. What happened, happened, and you can't do anything about that. Instead, why not think about what you can do? You can't change your past, but you can always change your future. That's not to say you can't reflect or mourn. Those things are important. We do that for a reason. But if you find yourself thinking about something that happened in the past to the point where it's affecting your daily life, that's when it becomes a problem. And at that point, you may want to seek help for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Shit, like I talked to my therapist about this today. Actually admitting that you need help with something is one of the bravest things you could ever do. It's terrifying to put yourself in a vulnerable position and ask for help. And the people who do that impress me daily. So there you go, there's some solid advice from yours truly. It helped me, so hopefully it helps you. And while we're on the topic of success, I'm gonna plug my channel. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. It helps get my work out there, and if my work gets out there, then I could get a lot of good opportunities. It'd mean a lot. Also leave a comment if you'd like. I enjoy hearing what you have to say. And I'm gonna stop there because I feel too much like a YouTuber. I am not used to this. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. You keep my life bright, my lights. Take care.